tell us a little bit about where you were before you found me. What was life like? What were you going through?
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Henna from Helsinki, and I am now a 48-year-old woman and living my life hectic in a way, working, have a work life. I've been a manager for the past 14 years within fashion. And but also for the past decade, I've had a special hobby, very, very dear to my heart, which is personal development, under which or during which I've become an energy healer. I do group coaching, personal coaching. I do healings and things like that. And when we started, I had followed you for a little bit. And a couple of years before that, I guess I had just realized that I'm not in a good point in my life. I didn't really think of it that why am I tired or things like that, but I was just realizing that a mission in life and passion and energy and things like that were not quite right. So I kind of followed you on and off, and I'm so happy that I was recommended, or you were recommended by a friend. So hello to Aina, and then I'm like, okay, how am I going to get into this? So I started bits and pieces here and there, but eventually it led me to, I guess this is the before part. I had done a juice fast, and then getting back from that was not that easy anymore. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to need somebody to help me out to feel better, because when you're fasting or cleansing, it's like you're supposed to feel really good a long time after. And it just kind of was like pretty quickly it went back to something that wasn't that good. And I'm like, I need someone. What can I do? And that was that point when I contacted you.
Okay. So so what exactly were you going through, as far as like what were some things that you were dealing with? Like what were some of the challenges that you would say you were like, okay, there's got to be something that I can do about this?
Oh man. Now that I look back to it, I didn't even realize that those were huge issues, but they were like every afternoon at work. I would just feel like, okay, why don't I fit in my pants anymore? It was just constant bloating, and for the evening up until, and I'm like, okay, am I sleeping really well? Also, because I needed to adjust a lot of things because of that, and that didn't feel good, and that wasn't. I have never had that. Sometimes, but it was in a female's life. You kind of feel it's a cycle thing within a month or so. But then having that daily, that was one. And I think now the main theme for it would be also very much sugar addicted. And not even realizing it. I thought it might have to do with emotional, or whether I would be feeling sad or lonely or happy or whatever. I'm like, okay, then you need something. But now I think about it as well, in a way of being addicted to sugar, in a way that I needed to have that just to move on. So just food in general, but sugar. So yeah. That was not fun. So sugar was one. Plus also just now that I look back to it, I wasn't feeling well because of all kinds of emotional ups and downs. And I've been into this, and I guess I'm the last person to know myself, is like, okay, I'm helping everybody else with their emotional stuff, or at least we have tons of people. I have within my my friend group and close groups that I have and facilitate even or participate in, that we talk about those things. And then I'm like, okay, I'm the last person to help, or get the help.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. Yeah.
Why did you decide to join the program? I know you were recommended, but what called your attention? What was it that made you say, okay, let me give this a shot and see where it goes? Like, what was that?
Well, I felt like there is nobody. I've tried a lot of things. I've done my first juice fast when I was about 18, 19. I've been into this kind of stuff for a long time, and I'm like, I need somebody special. So I knew about you in a way special that would be specifically helping with certain issues, and was familiar with what you did up to a level where I'm like, okay, this is something way different, because the whole perspective is so awesome. It's very very deep and in depth with what you talk about, and I'm like, okay, I guess I need that. I need to be in something. Plus, also knowing that there would be a mentor, but also knowing that, okay, I need to commit to something. And certain videos that I had watched, and I'm like, there are answers there, but I need to first kick my own butt to commit to that, so that I'll dig deeper. And I felt like you had those answers, and it's definitely been worth it, because you've had more than answers. The rest of it is hard work, yeah. But you have had, because otherwise I wouldn't have known that I might even be bloating because of lettuce.
Yep.
Because of the salads that I was having, and if because I was I guess a little afraid of going into, okay, somebody's gonna really read my food journal, and I needed to think, but I'm like, but it's sort of okay, but I'm still bloating, and then just tiny little, and so you've given everything and even more than what I was expecting. So the hunch that I had just proved to be right. So yeah.
Awesome.
It's a good thing, yeah. And I just want to say to everybody, just those videos, I don't know how many times I've listened to certain videos because there's always new things, and they always click in a new way, and that was definitely needed. So thank you.
That's an amazing answer. This is why I knew that this was going to be such.
You want more? Do you want more?
Absolutely.
The thing is, now that you were talking about it and then listening to it, there is something that I also would call, it's not about the information, the theory that goes into it, listening to it, watching the videos, and then kind of wondering what the theory and what all the information that you're getting is about. I think, because somebody might say, oh, do I have an hour? Do I have an hour to sit down with this? Yet during that hour, you're getting to a certain mode of probably also receiving the information in a different way, compared to just listening, kind of like being at school and like, oh, the teacher was saying that, and they're going to just have a test, and then it's over with. But no, there's something else there, and I think it's something during which, like I said, I had needed to kick my own butt. It's kind of reprogramming myself in a way, listening to what you say, understanding what the information is, but also internalizing it, and how am I programming myself to do it. It's also mental, and it's I'm doing it willingly and happy to do so, but there's a tiny little part that we get as information that goes just to the subconscious in a way. And I think that's where a lot of the blocks also are, not only the microbiome and all of the bacteria and all of the whatnot,
Yeah.
but those both, and those are the tiny little notches that need to be released. And sometimes they could just be by just listening, instead of whether you understand what you hear or not, but it's just about listening, because some parts of you are listening more carefully. Yeah. And they need that kick button happening, or butt kicking, or all of that.
Okay.
And then eventually, yeah.
I know what it's like to have a bad gut, where I have brain fog, where I can't remember things. I walk into a room and I'm like, why did I walk in here? What was I looking for? And and it happened like multiple times. So, and that's like the biggest challenge. It's like, how do you go from that to, okay, I'm going to give my attention? Because I know there's a lot of people that want to give their attention, but they're experiencing brain fog. So,
or tiredness, or moods.
yeah, exactly.
Everything. Yeah, and it takes a lot of energy. I mean, and of course, I mean, I'm happy now that I'm at this phase where I'm now, but I've been there. Even coworkers or have said that, Henna, you're zoned out now. I mean, they can notice it, and I do realize myself that sometimes. And what has changed from yes, having addictions or just, I guess it was something inside me saying, you really need that sugar now. It's kind of like something inside you saying that, and just totally being obeying. And whereas also another thing, cravings, I guess it's a sign of not everything being okay with the hormonal. You talk about hormones all the time, but unless I would have digged in so deep with all this, I wouldn't understand how weird they are for me. I've been following my own. Let's go into that for a little bit. Not only cravings, but also the cycle and what happens to you as a woman, and moods and all that. It was weird. It was really weird. And that combined with the sugar, that combined with the bloating, that combined with less energy because you didn't sleep that well. I used to wake up every night to need to go to bathroom. Like, that was common. It's like, that's how people sleep, right? No, now it's like, oh my gosh, I've slept full 7 hours, and I wake up and it's looking at the time kind of going, is it really that way? And now I can see that there's a difference. I'm not that zoned out anymore. So there is something, it's weird, but yeah, commitment and understanding what's going on. But I needed to have what you were saying, a system. You needed to have that, and good for you that you're doing it that way. Drink first, just, don't move along. Don't go further until you've done the hydration, until you've done all the vitamins and everything. I've actually written a note. I have a Post-it note, and I found it in my calendar under December. And I had written down what I had felt. I think it was in June, and what were all the things. And then I have written down another Post-it note when I started using these. And then I'm like, okay, tell me where you're at when you finish up the year. So I can go back and read. So it's good to have those journals because the moods and all of that. And I used to be very, very tired as well after a day's work. And that's not, I don't feel normal in that way. A person shouldn't be tired. I used to go to soccer practice after work, and I used to, go running and do all that. And I'm like, well, how can this be? Why do I come home and I don't have any kind of energy for anything? So there is something that has changed. Now I feel a little bit the same. So that's very cool. That's very cool.
Cool. I mean, you definitely look like you have a ton of energy right now. And I mean, it's 9 a.m. here in Arizona, and it's like, what, 10?
It's past 7. Yeah. 7 p.m. So after work. So this is after work hour.
so that's amazing to see that. Okay. Tell us a little bit about, like, what are some of your favorite changes, or maybe like your favorite insights that you have gotten from being in the program?
Oh, I am just so loving. There are quite a few, but I was thinking about a few that I could summarize. But yes, the craving part, that I don't, because I used to, I guess within the sugar addiction, another side of it was also, if I didn't get food within 3 or 4 hours, my blood sugars would go so low. I've been in like really, really bad situations where it takes a lot of times then to get back. The blood sugars don't return, and that's a horrible state. But what I've noticed is, because I'm very sensitive, in a way of sensing other people's emotions, sensing my own, and that's why being an energy healer is easier also. But in a way, I didn't know that I stress myself out so much, and that actually burns my energy at double pace. So sometimes my energy would just collapse, and I'm like, but I didn't. It's not that long time ago when I ate, but I guess it wasn't the right foods. But now, having the realizing, I'm like so specific. I'm having my vitamin D. I'm having my, I'm having my water. I even at work, I have all those. I need all the minerals. I need all of them. So that system needs to be in place because I feel so good. I do have the energy and I don't get zoned out. Plus, one amazing thing, my cycle is back. It's gone haywire. And yeah, I am that age. And it might be because, but what could be better than just realize that, oh, I'm okay. The cycle is back. So that's pretty amazing. And I had no idea that could even happen. But also just liking preparing foods, because before it was like, it was a must. Like I had to have nuts and I had to have, certain kind of snacks, just that I wouldn't collapse, in a way, just to know that. But actually that had taught my system and my whole body along the years of needing something. So I had taught myself pretty badly into bad habits. So not having that now. And another one is your smoothies. Also going through that phase is just amazing. Now, before I could not even imagine that I would leave the house without having my breakfast. And now it's like, oh, this is so cool. I do everything. I leave the house. I haven't eaten anything. And it actually makes that fasting window for the night. And also my brain and subconscious is happy about it because I feel safe. Before, I didn't feel safe if I didn't eat because I felt like something bad is going to happen. So now it's like, I am fine. I can have my tea and I can have matcha and I put a little oil in it. And I'm like, oh, I can go for another hour and I feel good. And then going to eat your lunch and everything you have, it feels so good. Plus the bloating is gone. I don't have to have that. I fit into my clothing and, losing a little bit weight, that's good too. But I feel like going to this whole phase has come to a place where I'm very safe. I feel good. Now I'm so happy to go to another. The next 6 months, yeah, I can handle this. I'll do this again.
That's so awesome.
Or in a way, continuing. Yeah.
What are you excited about moving forward with, based on what you've learned so far?
I'm excited to see where I still can go because, yes, I would put myself into one of those people that, okay, give me the hacks and I'll just go through it quickly. And knowing that mentally you have strength to go through a juice fast. I was originally going to do it for 5 days. I continued for 14. But the worst part comes after, in a way, because you have to teach your body to allow to get back to normal food and everything. And I needed that slow pace. I really needed it because the body gives you the rewards after. They're not after having a day of different kind of water. I'm even telling my people around me, my friends, and like, I have special water. It's but I wouldn't change back because I realized there are times when I feel like, okay, no, I need more flush water, which is the regular, and then I want the one that has the soy salt and all of that. And of course, everything else. But I needed that because the rewards come after, and it is constant working on it. And just like for a woman having had because the normal cycle is about 28 to 30 days. It is weird just trying to learn to be in 120 days and what's going on? Nothing is happening. It is weird. It is a transition into something that is new. And then suddenly going, wow, normal again. Yes. It's like score. I've just, scored in a soccer game. It's the best feeling. But you have to wait. You have to be patient and wait. And I feel like that's my body giving me high fives and high tens and, low fives and, all, the whole thing, just saying you're doing something right. But I have to wait. And sometimes it can also be that you get the result the day after. Just like when you eat, the next day tells you what you've eaten when you go to the toilet.
Yep.
Kind of story. Or even after. And sometimes when you're sensitive, your body might be just blocking you, you get constipated, but just don't realize it's not the microbiome only, it's your stress levels. It's, something happened at work, you just don't have anybody to talk to, or you just want to release the emotional parts, but you don't know how. And that can just keep you, and I mean, it could just kick you off for days, even for weeks. And I've experienced that too. So yeah, I think the rewards come after. So that's why I'm so excited. I want to get more rewards. I want to get into, and that's what one of the original versions was also. I think it's hormonal, but I call it baby fat. I'm like, I don't want this baby fat on me. I'm 48. It's like, what happened after age 1? It's supposed to go away. I'm kidding a little bit, but what I feel is I want to get into that part where, I mean, I've even done this gone to the gym, and I started biking to work at summer and all that, and I just want to take it up a notch.
Yeah.
Another level and realize where I'm going. I mean, I did the marathon. I'm not going to do the marathon again, I guess, but I could go back to running and maybe I'm not planning on that yet, but things that I used to love, I want to see where I can go, and you never know.
What are some of the things that you think have helped you the most with sugar cravings?
Oh, wow.
I know that's there's a lot of things, but just pick out like whatever comes up.
Let me think. Because it's a combination of things. And well, first of all, it's the basics. It is the hydration. It is the vitamin D. It's, having the cod liver oil, having the blue-green algae, having all the things that you suggested. Oh, ionic magnesium. But I cannot, in my mind, I cannot make that straight correlation, because those are the basics that then start to become part of your life and part of your routines, and you just don't want to go without. Mm-hmm. Yes, I went somewhere, visited a place, and then realized I had forgotten to take certain things with me. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll be okay for 24 hours. And you just realize the difference.
Yeah.
So you don't want to leave those out. But then eventually, certain things, just, getting into the diet and how you would do that. Plus, in addition, I have had a process of healings for myself. Mm-hmm. So it has been a very, very intense mental and emotional process. I'm analytical anyways. I love doing that kind of stuff. I am writing about it as well. So I've done a really, really deep dive into what would be the tools into gaining back your own power and energies and doing those things. But then as well with the healings, because those have been mind-blowing. And I want to make a tiny little correlation with mine. I think on one of the calls I was with, I was sharing this humongous experience during a healing, and I just realized that, okay, now that I think back to it, I think my microbiome, I would call it even, was so strong, or the yeast overgrowth because of the sugar was so strong that it kept, how would I call it? I would call it that was an energy entity in itself. Mm-hmm. And we needed to heal all of that. And it was really great to get support for it. But it was a tough, I've never had a tough healing like that. It was hard work. And it was like, okay, this energy is just pulling me to the wrong direction. And it's from way back, from I don't know, childhood, whatever. But yeah, I can go into that later, from my accidents and things like that. But I healed that as well as healing my gut, and doing those at the same time helped. And then I continued doing it for a couple times during these months, and they've all been major. And then suddenly, from having a really tough time, going into, oh my gosh, I'm floating, I'm flying. So the healing sessions just changed.
Yes.
And it just felt like I'm back into a light bulb kind of energy, instead of being, oh, somebody's dimmed the lights and I'm in a dark room and what's going on. Ooh. And yeah, so those have been the steps that I've gone through as well.
And so I think this is going to be a perfect transition point to start talking about this, because I want to go deep and help people understand how we go from the basics, the kind of like just the diet part, the microbiome part, into the mind, and how does energy flow through all of that?
But I'm getting really good visuals on it, because I can totally relate. Because my thought on it is, okay, what is this weird energy? Why am I tired, or why am I zoned out, or why am I not okay? And then I started making these clicks along the time, and listening to you, and then kind of making it into my own life. And they clicked in a way. I think if you cannot feel safe, let's put it this way. If energy is where what you have, it's like swimming in a pool, and you're fine. It's a clean pool. Everything is okay. But we have all these triggers, emotional triggers, and they can be like little bubbles around you. And then there's somebody says something and you get triggered, or something happened and you get, emotions come out. But it's also disassociation is a name for it, when that triggers you so much that you're actually in it. And that's like a state where I need sugar, or I am not good, and even thinking that you need something really bad. And I think that's a trigger where you're swinging in the pool, but there's actually a shark in there that you don't know. It's an invisible shark that comes and bites you. And that's your trigger. But it can just be a tiny little fish that comes and kisses your toe, but you get triggered because it's, that's what happens in our emotional parts. And when you get sugar, in a way, I love that thought of bad and good yeast, because I think within energy, something that keeps you on the lower levels of your energy, if your food is full of sugars, carbs, or wrong kinds. Like I thought I was doing really well with lettuce, and I'm like, oh, I have my nuts and everything. I just realized I had cashews. I've changed them to walnuts, and it's different. Huge difference, just because a different amount of carbs, tiny little things. So I get triggered less. And I don't even need that sugar that much, but I can have that. But I've also realized that there's a huge difference in how it affects me, and the reward comes after, or the punishment, because it could be bloating, or just bad mood and tiredness. And we don't actually relate that to the emotional triggers that we had. That was the shark that I was swimming with. I just didn't know that shark is going to bite me. But also, you can be swimming with these bubbles, tons of different tiny, bigger, smaller sharks, the triggers that you have. And actually, if you are keeping yourself in that pool, not realizing there's another pool without all these triggers, you're going to stay there forever, in a way, because you're not committed. So it's both. Subconsciously, you're staying there because you're not realizing you could do something about it, but also because you don't have energy. So this type of diet, and this type of energy around you, your physical, your mental, all of those emotional parts keep you there, you're stuck.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Just be okay with that. It's fine, but you can get above it.
Yeah.
And that's why I mentioned that I feel safe. I feel so much safer that I can go beyond that. And I needed those healings for it. And when somebody said to me, okay, we need to cleanse this. This is tough. This is really, and we worked really hard on it. I later on realized that that was part of the whole thing. We were also, not only I was cleansing my microbiome, I got the strongest healing experiences and results when I was in a fasted state, which was awesome. And then realizing once I get, beyond that, I'm like, okay, I'm on the next, let's put it this way, on the next vibration. So I'm not here, I'm not stuck, and I'm not below on that lower end of it. I'm not sure if it might making sense, but there's more light. Yeah. So it's like you're diving with the sharks. You're not even head above water. And once you get above water, you're like, oh, I can breathe. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's daylight, and it's amazing. And even from there, you can go to a vibration where you can feel the joy, you can feel the good vibes, and that's when those things start to, I guess, work together. Your diet and your mental state and how you want to be, plus the energies. So it's a combination of all of them.
When we used to drive down to Mexico, there's a stretch from Tucson to Nogales. It's like the south part of the U.S. right before we get to the border.
I've been there.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yes.
So if you made that drive, you may notice that it's usually full of clouds, and they're very, the shapes of they're just like little cotton balls in the sky. And I remember, because we used to make that drive all the time. I mean, growing up, we used to drive to visit family, and Mom used to always look at that, and she'd be like looking at this, it's like, this is my favorite part of the drive, and just looking at the clouds. And I was a kid, and I'd be like, Mom, what do you mean? Like, what's so special about these clouds, right? And it's interesting because now as I do my cleanses, and like, I have an appreciation for nature in a way that I didn't have before. Yes. And so like now I see it and I'm like, wow, those clouds are good looking clouds. I look at things like, I have a pine cone here. I don't collect like too much stuff, but like I see stuff like this and I'm like, oh, like this has like that Fibonacci sequence. Like there's geometry to, like there's intelligent design here. Yeah. And you start thinking and looking into, it's like our bodies have that, because I don't know how the body heals itself. I just know that the body heals itself. Yeah. You give the body what it needs and it grows things. I don't know how it does it. It just does. Yeah. And so to me, it's a matter of like, okay, if we can take, this energy that we're creating by feeding our bodies properly, using that energy for our creative purposes, because that energy needs to rise and flow, right? And then through our pineal gland, that's where we basically broadcast what we want our lives to be like. And what I'm finding is that the more that I do this, the more able I am to dream, to imagine, and picture vividly, what I see myself doing. And it's something that I don't know how to explain it, because I know that before I experienced this was kind of like woo-woo stuff to me. It was stuff that I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whether you call it manifesting, whether you call it God answering prayers, whether you call it the law of attraction, whatever it is, I had not experienced it. But now, the more that I take care of my body, the more that I take care of my health, is really the main reason why I'm driven to take care of health. Sure, like I'm leaner than I've ever been. I have a ton of energy, but I want to know what this can do. Like that's
really
what gets me excited. And I know that with energy healing, that's what we start getting into that part. It's like, what can the mind do?
Mm-hmm.
There's
It's not even only the mind, but it's the body, mind, soul, or your core connection that you have, whatever you wish to call it, the higher you, or you can call it God, you can call it the God in you, you can call it different things, but I think those parts within you start working together instead of them fighting each other. And you were just saying awesome things. I just and explaining really, really, really nicely of how I understand it as well. You know, toxicity keeps you at a lower level where you could be compared to your potential and compared to what could be. But we don't even realize we could get to another place, to that other pool or the next one or the sea. You know, after the swimming pool, we can, go and swim in the sea or the ocean. So, but the thing is, I think stress keeps us there. Like you said, it can be a surrounding, it can be your inner stress because you get triggered because you have, it could be just a tiny little thing. It doesn't mean that you have to have a bad childhood or you have to have, it could just be a tiny little trigger that you had. You just didn't get the cookie when you were little, but your brother or sister did, and you were just so sad because of it. I love that. Thought, because it can be those tiny little memories, but it's easy also, just like if you're in the middle of it, like the tools are so easy. You could just breathe. You're already centered when you just breathe, and you're like again, and you can do it anywhere. You can do it at a cashier, or you can do it in a crowd. You can do it during a family fight. You can just go, yeah, I'm just breathing. Nobody has to notice. I sometimes, and I tell my friends, at work or in a place where you could be visiting somebody, you just go to the toilet and do your breathing, and just be there for a little bit. You can rub your ears. It's like it gives blood start flowing into different places, or you could just go, oh my, oh my, oh my. Small little things that you have. I mean, they're amazing tools that are the tiniest little things that make a difference. And then you're just centered again, and then you can get back to that.
Yeah.
Plus elevated, like you were saying, just even further than that. I love hearing that. And looking forward to getting new material from you that gets into this kind of stuff.
I'm telling you, I got so much stuff to go into this. I mean, we're at the top of the hour here, and I want to keep going. Because I can talk about
also continue as a continuum to what you're doing now, like the courses and all that. You talk about them, and you've had those, like the anxiety video, and you've had those, but even further.
Yeah. I mean, I am actually going to be talking a little bit more about this on this Thursday's call, because like this microbiome mind connection, like to me, it's amazing. Like once you get it, I mean, we're talking about, you take care of your diet, it's going to be easier for you to calm your mind. And the more calm your mind is, the easier it is for you to direct what you want your body to do.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like people are in a downward spiral, doing all the wrong things, not able to, like their anxiety's through the roof. They can't focus, they can't concentrate. And because of that, they're eating bad stuff, and they're just feeding that cycle. Yeah. And that needs to break. And there's two ways that you're going to do it. One of them is you start eating the right foods. That's going to automatically start to expand your consciousness, calm your mind, do all those things automatically. The other one is if you just start with your mind, if you just start to practice things, which I keep telling people this, and it's the reason why I made that course on anxiety, is that even after you get your hormones in check, even after you optimize your microbiome, you still need to learn how to use your mind, because if you don't, the mind is going to use you. And if you can understand what that means, I don't know what else you can learn in this world that's like more powerful than that.
Yeah. Plus also, I do have to mention, it's not only the mind, but we get triggered. Like I said, the little sharks, those are everywhere. they're energy thieves, and they're gonna get to you unless you have your inner strength with your mind, with your gut, but also the energy to push that away, or just go ping pong, go away.
I mean,
It's not
and it's what we talked about. Like, you have people that are surrounded by, your family members, close friends. They have essentially a circle of energy around you that they, you feel like you have to act and behave a certain way because that's what people around you know you as. And oftentimes people have this idea of like, oh, if I start doing the juices or the smoothies or whatever, what are people going to think of me? There's a lot of that goes on, but the only way that that's going to change is feeding your mind the right information. It's feeding your mind, things. And this is kind of like we get into like an information diet. Like, I don't use social media. I see people scrolling, and then I look at that. It's like, wow. And I've been there. I've done that. Once you cut that out, that's toxic.
Yeah, you're right.
Especially nowadays with information being not just censored, but really directed towards specific topics. I'm looking around at people like, yikes, like that's what scares me, is the fact that people are kind of like trapped into this toxic world. And I mean, obviously we're all part of this world, so we can't really avoid it. But if you can disconnect from it, right? Be in this world, not off this world.
Yeah.
That is what helps you clear your mind. And if you can clear your mind like that, you can kickstart your process of eating better. Everything can start to fall into place. And we can talk about this all day long, but we're going over the hour. And we are going to talk about it on Thursday inside of the coaching program, because I think this is super important to learn and understand about.
I'm excited.
More about controlling sugar cravings, yeast overgrowth, and also the microbiome mindset connection. Super excited about that. Henna, I want to thank you so much for doing this interview with me, and I'm pretty.
And I want to thank everybody in the group and everybody that's there. I just love the high fives and the good on you, and it's just very positive and supportive. So it's awesome to be part of it. Thank you for all that you do for all of us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I truly appreciate you sharing your story and opening up. I know that there's going to be people that are going to relate to you better than they do to me. And I love that, because that's what I care about. We want to create 1,000 success stories. Everyone is going to be slightly different, but that's what we're shooting for here. And so who's next? That's what we want to know, right? Who's ready?